Welcome to the deep dive.
Okay, so we've got this stack of sources in front of us. A 2025 review comparing some big Linux players. Pop! OS, Linux Mint, Ubuntu, and Fedora.
All right. And the goal here really is to cut through the noise for you. We're looking at what these reviews say about which OS fits your needs best. Whether that's gaming development or just something super stable.
Yeah, the sources seem to map it out pretty clearly.
Yeah.
Pop! OS leans towards gaming, creative stuff. Linux Mint is often flagged as, well, the beginner's choice. Ubuntu comes up strong for community support, maybe enterprise too. And then Fedora, that's pitched for developers wanting the latest things.
Exactly. So should we maybe start with Pop! OS, since it's often mentioned for performance?
Let's do it, the gaming and productivity angle.
Okay, so Pop! OS, the 2025 reviews really double down on its focus there, productivity gaming. And it's not just that they have good NVIDIA support, which they do, it's how.
How so? Well, the sources point to specific things, like scheduler tweaks integrated right into the kernel. It's a deliberate technical choice, seemingly aimed at making frame rates more consistent when the system's under load.
Ah, okay, so they're really optimizing deep down, like under the hood.
Precisely. It's targeted.
But there's always a trade-off, isn't there? What are you giving up for that kind of specialized power?
That's the key question. And while feedback suggests it's reliable, that focus means fewer options for customizing your desktop environment, at least compared to something like Mint or Fedora.
Right. Less tinkering, maybe? More focus on the task?
Kind of, yeah. It sacrifices some flexibility for that focused performance boost.
Okay, so if Pop! OS is pushing performance, where do the sources guide us if we want the opposite? Like deliberate stability, maybe avoiding the cutting edge?
That leads us straight to Linux Mint. Its whole identity is built around stability. It's pitched as the OS that, just works right after install.
The out-of-the-box experience.
Exactly. Reviewers consistently praise its main desktop, Cinnamon, for being super easy to learn. Almost no learning curve for people switching over. And it comes ready for basic stuff, like handling Microsoft Office documents or PDFs easily.
Sounds great for newcomers, definitely.
Yeah.
But hang on, if it's all about stability, that usually means older software, right? Slower updates. Why would someone in 2025 choose that? Isn't that a bit risky even?
It's a fair point, and it comes down to the user. Who is this for? If you're a beginner, or maybe someone who just needs absolute rock-solid consistency for, say, basic office tasks or financial software.
Zero downtime needed.
Right. For that user, the trade-off is often worth it. They'd rather have a proven, stable base than the absolute latest version of every single app. Consistency over newness.
That's a fundamentally different approach. Okay, so contrast that with Ubuntu, the big one. Huge reach, massive community, enterprise use. What's the story there in 2025?
Well, the scale is undeniable. Huge community means tons of help available. And the long-term support, or LTS, versions offers support for like up to 12 years in some cases. That's massive for businesses.
Enterprises love that predictability.
They really do. But the sources consistently bring up that one critique. Ubuntu can feel bloated.
Ah, I've heard that. What does that usually mean in practice?
It often relates to things like canonical snap package system, which some find heavier, and maybe a more resource-intensive default desktop.
Yeah.
It just demands a bit more from the hardware.
So that enterprise level reliability and support, it comes with a bit of extra weight, which might not be great for older computers.
That's a good way to put it. You pay for that broad compatibility and long support window with, a bit more heft. Which takes us neatly to Fedora, the one that tries to avoid both the weight and the older packages.
Right, the developer's choice, according to the sources.
Exactly. It's all about the latest tech, newest kernels, newest software versions. It's very current. And they even have these things called Fedora Labs, curated software bundles for specific tasks, like scientific computing or design work. Very handy for developers.
Cutting edge stuff. Sounds great, but what about stability if you're always on the newest version of everything?
That's the flip side. That's where the trade-off really bites. Fedora is fantastic if you need or want that bleeding-edge tech, maybe for testing. But those frequent updates, well, user reports sometimes link them to occasional stability issues. Minor ones, maybe, but still.
Living on the edge means you might stumble sometimes.
Pretty much. You accept a bit more risk for the absolute latest features.
Okay, so wrapping this up, if someone's listening trying to decide what's the quick summary from these sources,
the matrix seems pretty clear based on this 2025 review synthesis. Pop! OS if gaming or specific performance tuning is key. Linux Mint for the easiest start and maximum stability. Ubuntu if you value huge community support and enterprise-level reliability. And Fedora for the developer who absolutely needs newest tools right now.
That distills it nicely. So that leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Given that Mint holds back updates for stability, while Fedora embraces frequent updates potentially at the cost of stability, take a look at how you work, what you do day to day. How much stability are you really willing to trade away to have the absolute latest features immediately? Something to think about.